Extrait de parfum. The hypnotic power and beauty of fire are always present in our lives, connecting us with great symbolic power to our emotions and to all of creation. The 4 new perfumes embody the 4 stages of a journey consumed by fire. In fire, every emotion, every image, every fragrance comes to life and exists almost independently from our thoughts. Our perfumes capture the indomitable spirit of our emotions. White fire. The silence of the snow, its dazzling white brought alive and sparkling by the flickering flames. The good, clean fragrance is simple and silvery, like the carefree laughter of a child, and innocent and gentle as a loving caress. The high elevation campfire on a glacier in the Italian Alps, one phase of an adventurous and arduous ascent to the summit of Mount Cividale. The excitement of waking up at sunrise to the wild and immense silence of the Dolomites. The crisp, clean air, the energizing, fresh smell of snow, the intoxicating oxygen, and the dampened smell of fire on ice, all in the glow of the first light of dawn. This fragrance embodies the unique power and beauty of nature, crystal clear in our eyes, hearts, and our most intimate olfactory memories. Nineteenth of March. La Focarina di San Giuseppe. On the night of the 18th of March, the verge of the spring equinox, it is tradition in our region to build a large bonfire, focarina, to burn up the leftover twigs and brush from winter and make room for the rebirth of spring. The air is filled with intense smells, fresh and new, yet nevertheless ancient. In our region, all the villagers gather around the large bonfire. The elders tell the children stories, and the most daring youths leap into the fire as a challenge and to prove their bravery. The fire burns away all the suffering and woes, confidently awaiting the arrival of spring and the joy and light-heartedness it brings. The fire kindles a sense of hope for the days to come, like a collective and apotropaic prayer. A world of old folk stories and traditions comes together in this complex fragrance with its utterly innovative olfactory texture. Gold Rose Oud. Barefoot amidst the charm and mystery of fire in a desert camp. The warm, sensual notes of a strange night in the wilderness. The soothing, spicy fragrance. The evocative power of roses, and the ancestral and reassuring perfume of honey. All of them are celebrated in the power of the flame. The desert is the space of echoing questions, the sounding board of the world's sounds. The desert arises from the precarious equilibrium of existence, at the intersection of places present and past, like a mirage at the edge of itself. The warm, sensual notes of a strange night in the wilderness, the soothing, spicy fragrance, the evocative power of roses, and the ancestral and reassuring perfume of honey, all of them are celebrated in the power of the flame. The exciting story of a unique and unforgettable experience. The first night in a tent in the desert. The darkness and the silence of this magic place which, like this fragrance, excites and fascinates from the first top notes. Here is the mellow Bulgarian rose, which embraces you like a warm cloak, an enduring balance of emotions. Yet, in a sudden flash, it becomes utter darkness, advancing in the unconsciousness like some primal anxiety. There is a saying I picked up on one of my trips, which has always fascinated me. The desert is as vast as the sky. If you want to be free as a bird, then live in the desert where there are no borders and no controls. This fragrance completely embodies this spirit of the infinite, mystery, and freedom. The precious notes of natural oud provide the intensity and fear found in the darkest notes. Ecstasy. The most intense journey into the sacred fire of the soul, in search of total authenticity, in the suspended gravity of absolute beauty. It is an encompassing, mystical fragrance, original, and with a strong personality. This fragrance was created on the most touching and profound day of our lives, in a kind of creative delirium, inspired by the power of eternal and surreal feelings. The emotion and transformation of these moments are captured in an indelible and cathartic memory, describing the sudden spiritual transition from boyhood to manhood. It is a fragrance which strikes you immediately and completely, with the same force as a punch in the face. This is thanks to the powerful, rich top notes of frankincense. Immediately after, though, it opens in a loving embrace and inner awareness to the chanting of white floral notes, the mystic power of Bakhor and fine wood. At that moment, you sense the power of the timeless love of someone dear, a love that merges with our soul in a religion of memory that gives a new sense of security and eternal strength. Your ego merges with the great cosmic one. In your soul there is a click, as in an instant you open up to the full dimension of being grown up. Here they are, inspired by travel notes in a leather-bound notebook as ancient and well-worn as the knowledge of our craft, passed down for 3 generations. New creations, perfumes with notes of memory and soul, perfectly capturing the emotions. These perfumes represent 2 more steps in this marvelous and ongoing journey towards the magnificence of fire and emotions of fantastical experiences and encounters. Lilipur. This journey starts from the ancient capital of spirituality in Nepal. Lilipur is a spectacular agglomeration of temples where huge braziers burn with incense and resins to aid meditation. This perfume represents the mystical fire of the soul and profound understanding, which is continually unfolding. One stop on this journey was Nepal, in search of a more intimate and solitary spirituality in the ancient capital renowned for its marvelous, mystical, higher state of being. A country where history, civilization, and myths intertwine. Nepal places the traveler in cosmic time, perfect for exploring the soul and discovering one's innermost self. Lilipur is a spectacular agglomeration of temples. Standing out among them is the incredibly beautiful Golden Temple. Here, in every corner, huge braziers burn with incense to aid meditation. Lilipur is considered one of the most spiritual places on Earth. This trip was the inspiration for this perfume. In a precious gold bottle, it is filled with the transcendent spirit of the place. This perfume represents the mystical fire of the soul and profound understanding. The perfume expresses itself slowly to the wearer, the traveler. It accompanies him all day long in an intimate sensory experience, one which is continually unfolding. Every inward breath of the perfume is a step closer to one's true self. Maremma. The other stop on this wonderful journey is in Tuscany, the perhaps less romantic and less well-known hills and valleys of Maremma. Tough and strong, just like the men and women who live there. Regal and proud as the horses that gallop tirelessly across its landscape, it is a place for camping in the pristine wilderness alongside the Butero and their amazing horses. The term Butero refers to Maremma's horseback herders. The name comes from the Greek, Butoros, oxen herder. Taken broadly, it is a term that could be considered the Italian equivalent of the American cowboy. This complex and multifaceted perfume exudes the power of this place. Filled with fruity and floral notes native to the Maremma landscape, together with strong leather and wood tones, makes this perfume incredibly long-lasting. Its black bottle contains all the charm of this wild and fascinating land, one of the least well-known corners of Italy, yet one brimming with wonders. Arethusa. The most carefree and joyful stop on this incredible journey is beautiful Sicily, where history, art, and nature are intertwined in an enchanting sea of emotions. Wild beaches, ancient ruins, and squares surrounded by Baroque buildings frame this Mediterranean place that embodies one of the most mysterious and at the same time oldest of Italian beauties. All the colourful sounds of Sicily are enclosed in this exquisite perfume extract. You will find delicious fruits paired with sublime-smelling flowers before reverberating in the fragrant wood of Mediterranean plants, harmoniously contrasted with the spices that surround Syracuse and the beautiful Ortigia Island. This creation was a journey to the origin, but then, on reflection, it was a vertiginous dream that characterizes the graceful spirit of a cool midsummer night in front of a bonfire by the sea, singing and playing the guitar with traveling companions, and with those who we always carry in our hearts, even if they are physically far away. Arethusa is a character from Greek mythology, daughter of Nereus and Doris. The god Alpheus, son of the god Oceanus, fell in love with her while spying on her, bathing naked. However, Arethusa fled from his attentions, surviving on the island of Ortigia in Syracuse, where the goddess Artemis turned her into a stream. Zeus, moved by the pain of Alpheus, turned him into a river, allowing him from the Peloponnese in Greece to travel all over the Ionian Sea to join his beloved stream. Even today, the myth lives on the island of Ortigia, thanks to the so-called Arethusa stream, a body of water that flows into the great harbour of Syracuse. Laudano Nero. The most bohemian stop on this unforgettable journey is mythical Paris during a rainy autumn day, but warm with winding watercolours, blended as in a painting by Renoir. The smell of the rain beating on the slate roof mixes with the stone streets lit by dim lights. A small fire at a crossroads of Montmartre heats musicians and acrobats that await tourists after the rain. The magical atmosphere is seeped with precious and rare scents that echo the mysterious art of a timeless place. One of the most complex and structured perfumes of the collection, where all the pleasing nonconformist notes are enclosed, a creation without compromise, just like the Bohemians, heedless of the thoughts of others and with a strong personality. A creation that can be worn and mostly understood only by those who really have a spirit free from all conditioning, from every stylistic conformity. Its uniqueness is perceived from the outset, with an unusual explosion of camphor that stuns like a glass of absinthe drunk in a moment. A strong counterpoint to the swell of laudanum and cognac, grafted onto the strength of precious woods, led to the absolute by unobtainable resins, reflected in turn in the smell of slate and laurel, all emphasized by the fire of the wet road. A solid black bottle like a stone building that captures the essence of artistic madness and not confined by any style prejudice. Anniversary Collection. The stylistic idea of this project lies in the pursuit of absolute purity. It is the desire to capture, without any artificial interventions, the extreme style of the most beautiful things that exist. Nature, with its wild, majestic, and impressive rules. From our lands each year, there will in fact be a new crop of carefully selected raw materials, cultivated with care and love by expert hands. These raw materials will be macerated and mixed conscientiously, following the artist's recipe, to reproduce an invaluable perfume extract. The sun, wind, rain, and snow will in fact have left their indelible and unforgettable mark on these ingredients, giving the molecules a unique character, and the fragrance its own soul. Each bottle will contain the nectar of nature and will conceal its moods. All we must do is listen to them and admire them. This is the closest place to the expression of artistic integrity, far away from any possible contamination. A long-term project for those who really love perfume. It will be a joy to meet in 5 years from now and talk about the time past, including all its unrepeatable uniqueness through the vertical sampling of these fragrances. Chimera Extrait de Parfum. This unforgettable journey starts in a sailboat in the Gulf of Fethiye, known in history as the land of light and fire, stopping at an amazing and surreal Olympus where from the heart of the mountain huge tongues of fire are released and are visible even from the sea in the warm summer nights. Like Phoenician sailors transported from Meltemi, we headed on toward the ruins of Lycian civilization, between untouched coves and pine-covered hills reaching down to the sea, surrounded by slopes covered in thyme, sage, bay trees, and rare, almost extinct gunluk, incense trees that perfume the air in a breathtaking explosion of colors and essences. A scent of wild and lush nature, both sweet and warm at the same time, emphasized by the intense smell of melted caramel that comes from small camps at the foot of the mountain, where we rested before the climb. This fragrance reverberates in the air and is reflected in the blue of the sea, passing by the ruins of the ancient city to reach the lighthouse at Cape Gelidonia, which stands alone in a place full of history and legends. The tensions and attractions of this combination of elements, fire and water, have been captured and enclosed in a perfume extract made from rare and precious natural raw materials. This untouched territory, rugged and wild, gathers within itself all the splendor and strength of the Mediterranean, that from its belly, like an ancient Greek deity, breathes supernatural and magical fire, giving rise to Chimera. Casanova Extrait de Parfum. The most romantic stop on this wonderful journey is Venice, where the fire of seduction still burns in the fireplaces of the beautiful 18th century buildings, mysterious villas of undiminished charm, frequented by the famous Casanova, whose presence can still be felt if you pay proper attention to small signs. The memory of a winter's evening during the famous carnival in Venice, inspired by a mysterious and ethereal muse, the city of Doges. The night's air seeped in perfume, heated by the scents of bonfires that light up the streets and Piazza San Marco. A dance of sensory emotions accompanied by a beautiful and mysterious lady, her face hidden by a precious golden mask, like the bottle that contains this valuable and secret essence. Letting yourself be overcome is your only defense in the face of such persuasiveness. This perfume tells of places of beauty and seduction through its complex and fluctuating structure, which is entrusted to the rare and precious ambergris. A subtle journey through a city that inspires love and eroticism through its paths described by Casanova in his memoirs. Memories of amorous adventures with the stunning backdrop of a city so ethereal that it lives floating on water.
The formulation of the molecules does not follow the rules
of traditional haute perfumery. Instead, it opens itself up to the freedom of exploring all possible alchemies through politically incorrect actions. It manages to represent the true essence of life, including its imperfections, tensions, dissonances, all of which make the moment simply beautiful. To experience a perfume with this kind of structure requires time, patience, perseverance, and wisdom. In fact, it does not reveal its essence to just anyone. You cannot just decide to wear it. It will be the one to choose you, if it feels you have the right soul to truly understand it.